I love the Indiana Jones movies. In fact, I love them so much I saw the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, opening night in theaters. Well, that is if opening night was mid-2012, the theater was my living room, and my dad was the one holding the remote. Hey guys, Rob here, welcome to Glydal Tech. As I said in the intro, I love the Indiana Jones movies, and I've wanted to do an Indiana Jones costume for, many years, ever since I saw the movie. And so I'm finally at a point where I can afford to, make purchases and buy parts of the costume that'll, look actually accurate to the movie and, get an accurate looking costume. So with that being said, I'm going to be doing a few videos over the next few weeks of my Indiana Jones costume. I have a few pieces already, and I have a few pieces being shipped to me, and I have a few pieces I'm still looking for. But every time I get a new piece, or I get a few new pieces, depending on the week and whatnot, I will record a new video for you guys and talk about it. So first things first is the fedora. Now I do have an Indiana Jones fedora, but this is one that I got back when I was still a casual costumer. And what I mean by casual costumer is like my good idea for a Pensacon costume was a black shirt, black pants, a cape, some boots, and a leather satchel, and also depending on the time of day, some green accents. I mean, you can see not a very good look. I mean, I didn't even know what that was supposed to be. The first fedora I got was from a company called Hat Country. Now, this company, as far as I can tell, specializes in making cowboy hats. So, much to no one's surprise, the fedora is more cowboy hat than a fedora. Yeah, like I said, casual costumer. All I really wanted was something vaguely fedora shaped to put on my head, and this is what I got, and this is what I ended up with. Now, you can kind of see here, this is a picture of Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, from Raiders of the Lost Ark with his fedora, and you can see the vast difference in the hats. First off, this hat here, it kind of curves up on the sides, which his hat doesn't really do. And also the pinch is all wrong. The Raiders pinch goes all the way down to the front here, all the way down to the ribbon, and the dimples are a bit different. And also the top of the hat. This hat is a teardrop shape bash, whereas Indy's hat is more of a straight bash. I forget what it's called. It's just straight line down the middle bash there. So this hat, in terms of accuracy, is not very accurate at all. But it's what I have for the time being, and this is what I thought I was going to go with. But as I was looking at pictures from the movie, reference photos and whatnot, trying to figure out what pieces I need and what color like the shirt and the pants were, I decided that the hat was too odd looking, and the hat I had at least was too odd looking, and I needed to get a better fedora. And so I ordered a better fedora from a company called Advantage. And that is being shipped currently. I don't know when it's supposed to arrive yet. It's been shipped, and I have a tracking number with DHL, but it doesn't have an estimated delivery date yet, or an estimated delivery date just yet. But as soon as it gets here, I will review it and talk about that in terms of the costume. If you're looking for accuracy over cheap, then I definitely wouldn't recommend going with this. I'd recommend going with something like Advantage or the Akubra Federation 4, which is another great hat, which I might end up buying one of their hats in the future. Next, we're going to go on to the shirt. Indiana Jones shirt is it's a safari-esque shirt. It's a field shirt. It varies in color. Different people see different colors, anywhere from a slightly off-white to a more tannish color. The shirt I got was at the thrift store. This is the shirt I got here. It's a nice shirt. The one thing I was looking for was 2 breast pockets, which that is one thing Indiana Jones has on his shirt. He was also going for the color, and obviously, making sure the shirt fits me. The one thing that this shirt has that this shirt does not have that Indiana Jones's shirt has is 2 strips of fabric going down the front of the shirt through the pockets on both sides. Now that cannot be found on natural shirts or on just any random shirt with 2 breast pockets in this color, because that was added in, as far as I can tell, to the shirt that was used for the for the movies, or it was a specially made shirt for the movies. You can buy Indiana Jones shirts from different companies. For example, Magnolia Clothers. I'll link their shirt in the description. Have a wonderful looking adventure shirt that would work just for Indiana Jones's purposes, but it's a bit too expensive for me at the time being. So this works for me, and especially since if I'm wearing the leather jacket at the same time as the shirt, you won't be able to see those strips of fabric anyway. So this will work for the time being casual costumer. So with that being said, let's go straight into the jacket. This is the jacket that I have. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but this is a darker brown jacket. It's actually, this is a jacket of my dad's, an old jacket of my dad's that doesn't fit him anymore, that he gave to me since it fits me a bit better. This is a flight jacket, an Air Force flight jacket. It's a Type A2 jacket, and so it's a nice looking jacket there. It's a little inaccurate because it's got these elastic cuffs, and it also got an elastic hem, I guess, or is that that's not a waistband necessarily. The bottom of the jacket's elastic, so it's a bit inaccurate there, and it also has you know spots for Velcro patches on there. But it's a decent looking jacket. I can't afford to spend $500 on a genuine leather replica jacket of Indiana Jones's, but this fits me for the time being. And when people see this, especially with the fedora hat, you can tell, hey, that's an Indiana Jones look he's going for there. So, which is the whole thing I'm going for. So this may not be the most accurate jacket you can get, but once again, I can't afford to spend $400 or $500 on a quality, sturdy jacket. There are a few places you can get a good, accurate looking Indiana Jones jacket from. One of which being Magnolia Clothers, which I mentioned previously with the shirt. I will link their jacket that they have in the description, or at least one of their jackets, the one that I'd probably get if I could afford it. You can also check out Wested Leather. Wested Leather is the people who supposedly made the jacket for Indiana Jones in the movies, so their jackets are going to be accurate as you can get, I believe. But the problem with Wested Leather, from what I've heard, is that while they may be nice and accurate looking jackets, they're not as sturdy as some other leather jackets. So they're more of a, you wear them as a costume piece, but you can't wear them as an everyday, get battered by the rain or, scuffed up type of jacket. Which, if I was going to go an Indiana Jones cosplay, I'm not only looking for accuracy and accurate looks, but I'm also looking for practicality. Stuff that I can wear as an everyday type clothing if I want. So if I was going to do a leather jacket, spend a lot of money on it, I'd rather spend slightly more to get, as well, Wested Leather spends, their jackets are like $150 to $200, so it's a lot cheaper. But if I was going to go for buying a jacket that's accurate and whatnot, I'd want it to be sturdy and hold up more, like I've heard the Magnolia Clothers jackets are. So I'd probably go with the Magnolia Clothers, like I said, but for the time being, this works. It satisfies my needs and my looks for the Indiana Jones outfit, so that's what I'm going to go with. Now, moving swiftly on to the pants. This is another thing I got from a thrift store. These are just basic pants you can buy. The color of Indiana Jones pants differs throughout the movies. If I hadn't mentioned it before, I'm going for a Raiders of the Lost Ark look, because that is, the first movie, and I think the most iconic Indiana Jones look. So that's the look I'm going to be going for. The hat I ordered from Mad Vintage has the Raiders bash, and so the bash of the hat is different in all of the movies, and so the hat, I specifically chose a hat that is bashed the way the Raiders of the Lost Ark hat is, so that's what I'm going for there. But so these pants are pretty accurate to what you get the color from the first movie is. I just looked up a bunch of reference photos and found a few different shots of the pants, and these looked fairly accurate to me. Like I said, they're just plain tan pants that that worked out pretty well for my purposes. Next up, we have the belt he wears. Now, he wears actually two different types of belts. He wears a belt to hold his pants up, and he also wears a belt that has his his gun holster and his whip holder on it. And I have the gun holster and the whip holder and the leather belt there coming in. I ordered those off of the seller on Etsy. I will link that down in the description as well, the seller I bought this stuff from. But the belt that holds up his pants is a standard military web belt. It's a dark brown color with a brass buckle, and so I got one of these off of Amazon. This cost me like I think $10, maybe slightly less. I don't exactly remember. But it's great because it's a lot longer than the military standard size, so you can measure it and cut it out, measure it to your own size, to your own waist size. I haven't cut it yet. That's because I just haven't taken the time to do it yet. It's very easy to put together, very easy to wear, and it's actually fairly comfortable. But the biggest thing is I could get the belt that I needed that would be accurate for fairly cheap, which was good. Next we have the whip. This is another iconic piece of the costume for Indiana Jones. He always carries the whip with him, and he used it as one of the main parts of his arsenal. And so this is the whip I have. It is not the same whip that was used in the show, or not the show, the movie, or like the same style, maybe the same person sort of thing, because the whip used in the movies was made by a guy named David Morgan. And you can buy his whips, and you can get a whip that looks exactly like Indy's whip does, but you'd also have to spend like $900 to $1,000, and I can't spend that much. One day maybe I might be able to do that, but for the time being this will work. This is a whip that I got off of Etsy from a seller called, well, I believe the brand is LB's Whips, and it's a nice whip. I will link it in the description once again where I got it from. I got a 10-foot whip, which is the length that Indy uses in most of the shots of the movie, and that he carries on his belt. Now, there were many different sizes of whips used in the Indiana Jones movies, anywhere ranging from 6 feet to 14 feet, just for different stunts and whatnot. But it's widely accepted that the 10-foot whip was used for most of the carrying on the belt and the casual cracking of the whips that we see Indy do. So I got a 10-foot whip. My mistake was I don't know how to crack a whip, and so I'm having to learn, and it's recommended that beginners start with an 8-foot whip, and so I have an extra 2 feet of whip that I'm having to learn with, so it's a bit more complicated to learn with a 10-foot whip than an 8-foot whip, or so I've heard. So yeah, I'm getting better at it though. Cracking the whip is fairly fun. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show footage of me cracking the whip just yet, but I will have that later on. Maybe when I finish the costume I can do footage of me cracking the whip. Now, the last bit of the costume that I currently have are the boots. Now, the boots are something that, plagued me for a little while. The boots that Indiana Jones used are an Alden boot. I forget, it's like an Alden 404 or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's nicknamed the Indy, and you can still buy these boots. Same manufacturer, same type of boot that was used by Harrison Ford in the movies. Unfortunately, you can't get the same color because they use a different type of leather to make the boots. That's a small detail, at least for me, I believe. It's something that to get the exact color would be great, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for the exact boot and the exact color all the time. But the downside to this is that the same boot is the boot you can buy online, but you can also go to the store in person, which is like in New England somewhere. So it's far away from where I live from. I live in Florida, so I'm not able to make a trip up there to go to the company to get the shoe, which is what I would probably want to do, because it's better to try on shoes and then buy them, as opposed to buying them online and then trying them on and having to send them back for the wrong size, because that's, especially with this shoe, which can cost $400, $500, and they're custom made, and I'd rather not have them custom made and then get them and realize they don't fit and have to send them back and deal with all that. So if I was going to get these boots, I'd want to go up to the store itself, but I can't afford $500 for a boot. But I needed a boot that looked very similar. They're ankle high boots, and they're a brown leatherish color, or a brown leather color. So I spent a lot of time looking. I went to 9 different shoe stores, or 9 different places you can find boots at. And yes, I'm including Walmart and Target in those, because you never know what you can find there, but I wasn't expecting to find anything, and I didn't. But I finally found a nice boot. This is what it looks like. So it's not 100% accurate, obviously, to what was used on the movies, or in the movies. But it is brown color. It's got the ankle high boot look, I guess is what you're going to call it. I don't know. It's leather, and it's got a roughly similar design, same general shape. There are differences, but the important thing is that it looks like the boot Indiana Jones wears. Another important thing for me was my foot. It's a bit odd sometimes when fitting into pointy shaped shoes. I found a shoe at Kohl's that I thought would work, but it was just too narrow in the toe area for my foot, and so that wasn't going to work. I would have to get like a really big size for my foot to be able to fit into it, but then I would have like this much room on the end of from the end of my foot to the end of the boot, which would not work. So I kept looking. I finally found this one, and I knew this was the shoe that I had to get for the costume as soon as I put my foot into it for the first time. When you buy shoes, when you're shoe shopping, you put a shoe on. For example, if you go to like Walmart, Target, Kohl's, Bell, something like that, and you try on shoes. You know, new shoes have that weird new shoe feel. Like, you can tell it's comfortable, but you also can tell it'll take you a bit to break it in before it'll fully be like, oh yeah, this is my shoe, and it doesn't feel like a new shoe. I put this shoe on, and it immediately felt like a shoe that I had been wearing for years. Brand new shoe. It was just the most comfortable shoe I had ever put on in a store, and it was, I knew this had to be the boot I was going to get because it looked great and it was also very comfortable. So I ended up getting, obviously, the boots for this, and I wore them one Sunday to church, and they were, I mean, this is the most comfortable shoe that can pass as a Sunday shoe I've ever worn. That's the beauty about these shoes, is that they're nice enough to wear with like a suit or with when you have to dress up, but they're also casual enough you can wear them for everyday wear. And I definitely like this shoe very much, and I will probably, when these wear out, I will probably go back and buy the same shoe from the same place. So yeah, that's all the pieces I currently have for the Indiana Jones costume. I'm going to cut here and show you what everything looks like when I'm wearing it. There we go. See, this is what I got so far. My Indy costume. Like I said, it's obviously not completed. I have the hat is still a bit odd. This fedora is really messed up. It's not doesn't sit quite right on the head, and it's obviously not the fedora I'm going to end up with. So that's going to be replaced hopefully soon. But for the time being, that's what I got. See, so the shirt and the jacket, the pants, the web belt, and I've also got the boots I'm wearing. If I can, I'll have to angle the camera down so you can see that a bit better. Boots, I'm wearing those on there, which it's I think they're nice. I really enjoy wearing these. Like I said, they're very comfortable, very easy to wear and whatnot. Yeah, so that's what I got. Oh, and of course, I've got the whip I can carry, and don't have the belt loop yet for the whip, but it'll coil up and be sitting right here. So this is me as Indiana Jones, currently all I have so far. But yeah, so hopefully the rest of the pieces will come in somewhat soon, and I'll be able to finish up this costume, or at least for the time being. I think this is always going to be a costume that's a work in progress, because I'll always be looking for new pieces. I might one day get the get accurate looking shirt. I'll one day get the more accurate jacket, and I mean, the Indy fedora is going to be great, I hope. I really want it to be a hat I can wear on a regular basis, not just when I'm doing the costume. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see some more videos that I have, you can check it out over here. Up top you can see the Captain America cosplay announcement video. I'm still working on that cosplay. And then down below you can see my last DIY video where I worked on I switched out the LED for my Ultra Sabers for a green one. But yeah, as always, if you want to see more content, please subscribe. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you all next time.